Hello cuties, welcome back to my channel. So today I wanted to share with you how I make some red pepper hummus. It's so easy and so delicious. I do have a recipe, it's not my recipe, so I'll link that recipe below. And these are the basic ingredients. So right here is about 4 tablespoons of lemon juice, 2 cloves of garlic, some tahini, a little over 1/4 cup of olive oil, and the roasted red peppers. And over here I have the chickpeas or garbanzo beans. I do like the Goya beans much better, but I happen to have a can of Progresso and it's a little more than the 15.5 ounces that the Goya is. So I'm actually gonna up everything just by a little bit. So I have a little more than 1/4 cup of olive oil, a little more than the 4 tablespoons of lemon juice, and I'm gonna add just a tiny bit more tahini and 2 small garlic cloves instead of 1. So I think it's gonna balance out, and I will add some salt also. So stick around to see how I put this all together. So I just wanted to show you guys in case you don't know what tahini looks like. So it usually comes in a jar. I have different brands that I've used. This just happens to be the one I have now. And this is what it looks like. So it's just sesame seeds roasted and kind of pressed and probably whizzed around to make it smooth. But you have to stir it when you get it. It usually separates because there's the oils in there. So the recipe calls for 3 tablespoons of this. So as I mentioned, I'm using a little more of the chickpeas, so I'm going to up it just a little bit. And stay tuned, and I'm gonna put this all into the food processor and show you what that looks like. Here are the 2 cans of chickpeas, and I rinsed them and drained them. And I'm gonna pour those in the food processor. And I wanted to mention that you can certainly do this with fresh chickpeas. So you would soak them overnight and then they'll be ready to go the next day. It's absolutely delicious. It makes the best hummus. But the reason I use canned is, of course, because it's quick and easy. You just open up the can, they're all ready to go. And also, if you decide at the last minute you need to make hummus, it's all ready to go. So feel free to use, the dried chickpeas, even better. But otherwise, canned works just fine. So I'm gonna get this all in the food processor and I'll show you what that looks like. Okay, so here's everything in the food processor. I've got the chickpeas, the red peppers. These came out of the jar as I showed you. The tahini and the garlic, I just peeled it and kind of chunked it up a little bit. And I'm gonna pulse this before I do anything else, before I add lemon juice or olive oil or salt or anything else. And I'm going to show you what that looks like. Okay, so I pulsed this up a little bit and I did wind up adding the lemon juice because it wasn't quite coming together. There wasn't enough liquid in there. And you can see I still have a big chunk of pepper. So I'm going to pulse this a few more times and then I'll show you what the next step is. Okay, here it is. It's starting to look a little more like hummus. You can see it's still very chunky. And I wanted to say that if you need it to be a little looser to kind of whir it around, just add a little bit of warm water, just a little bit. You can always add more as you go along. So I'm gonna whir this up just a couple more times and then we'll get to the part with the olive oil. I also added some salt. I am going to taste it once it's all put together to see if I need salt, more salt, and even possibly pepper. The recipe doesn't call for it, but my family loves pepper. and just like magic, it's all nice and smooth. You can see little flecks of the red pepper. I don't mind that. I kind of like it, then you know what's in it. I didn't add any salt or pepper. I did taste it and it tastes amazing. A little bit sweet. The tahini wasn't overwhelming because it can be sometimes. It's just perfect. And you saw how I added slowly the olive oil as the processor was running, and that's how you get it kind of all homogenized. So I'm gonna let this sit in the fridge for a little while and then I'll plate it up. We're having some family over who loves hummus, so I'll show you what the finished platter looks like. I also wanted to tell you, so this is obviously a red pepper hummus. I've also made a sun-dried tomato hummus, which is absolutely amazing. If you ever try that or want to try that, I may do another video with that. It's just so delicious. And if you have any questions or comments, please leave them below. I'd love to get comments and I'll respond to you right away. And I hope you give this a try. Again, I'm going to show it all plated up so it looks nice and pretty. But I think it turned out amazing. This is a great recipe. And again, I will link it below so you can give it a try yourself.